Well, welcome back to the channel, everyone. I appreciate you stopping in today. This video is going to cover the installation of this, a Metabo miter saw. I'm going to remove this 10-inch Delta and install the 12-inch Metabo miter saw that I've purchased. And to do that, I'm going to have to separate these or widen out these cabinets here so that it will fit where this miter saw is now. So as you can see, I have already moved a lot of stuff out of the way and kind of prepared for this, moved some things off the walls. This cabinet here is going to have to shift down probably about 6 or so inches. And I'm really thinking about moving it away from the wall a little bit, because when I install the dust collection, which actually runs through these two cabinets, the drawers down here, there's 4 drawers that kind of stick out because they butt up against the pipe that runs behind those cabinets. So this is kind of going to be kind of a random video, I think, as far as me making decisions on the fly as to how I want to rearrange this whole section. Unfortunately, if I do pull these cabinets out, I'm going to have to do this cabinet as well. So the first thing I need to do is take all these drawers out and actually take the screws out and unmount this from the wall. I will not miss that saw. All right, well, I'm going to pause this right here and kind of step back and make some executive decisions on what needs to be done at this point. I really would like I said, to pull this off the wall, maybe 1.5 inches, put a 2x back here, and then reattach both of these cabinets to the wall. That'll give me a little more space for this pipe that runs behind the cabinet. Well, I've looked at how this cabinet is attached to the wall, and I believe the best course of action is to do what I had said, move both of these cabinets away from the wall. That'll give me more room, and I'm going to actually square that up or cut it flat so that I can slide the cabinet, mount the pipe on the wall, and then slide the cabinet over that. All right, to give you a little bit of progress here, I've removed the, if you can see that or not, I've removed the scroll saw from this cabinet. It wanted to tilt over, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to have to shim these cabinets to get them level and all that good stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and take it off. I needed to take it off anyways to drill some holes for a future video. And again, you might want to subscribe and see what's going on with dust collection for the scroll saw. That's going to be really good. So that's why this has been extended. I didn't show that in the dust collection install videos, but I did extend that down because I do want to put dust collection on the scroll saw. This will be dust collection for the miter saw that will be here. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to square these holes off. There's 3 of those on this cabinet, 3 of those on those cabinets, and I'm going to make some clearance there so that these will just slide right up against the wall and I won't have to mess with these pipes at all. All right, so after further inspection, one of the reasons why I wanted to move this away from the wall was because the drawers were striking the pipe and they weren't closing all the way. See, that is right against it. That is right up against it. See, this cabinet is rather deep, and if you notice, the drawer does not go all the way to the back. So the cabinet itself, I believe, is 2 foot, and it's about 22.5 inches. But to save space on the sheet goods when I was cutting the drawers, this is 19 inches. So if you do some math, you'll figure out that 19 and 48 and 96 all go together. So you get more drawer bottoms out of a sheet of paper, of plywood, so you don't have a lot of waste. So it's not a full depth. So it looks like to me though that that is fully closed. And I got about a 1/4 inch clearance between the drawer and the pipe right here. So I think I'm going to move forward and just mount this back to the wall and let it ride that way. That's going to be just as good. I would much rather have it up against the wall, because that way if I ever put a backsplash, if you will, against the wall, which I've thought about doing that up so high, because things fall down and get behind this cabinet, and so I'm just going to do that. I'm going to put this back where it was, shim it, get it nice and level, and because it was perfect before. So, well, alrighty, I've got all of this installed. Everything is level as far as the length, and then from here to there, and from front to back, all of this has been re-shimmed. It was not easy, but it's done. So now we can get on to what this whole video is about, and that is building a spot for this miter saw to sit in. All right, let's make a couple of cuts with this. I've already made a few when I was making some support pieces for this cabinet. Nice and smooth, man. So this saw has a shadow line, and I'm just lining it up at the back there. This cabinet is not square, so I'm going to have to trim some of this to get it to fit. I think it's like 7.5 at the back and 7 5/8 at the front here. All right, that is perfect. All right, so I got my plate, the two sides and the front and the back here, and I'm going to put these together and make a frame, probably install the frame and then put the plate on top of that. All right, so I'm just going to glue this, drill some holes here and glue and screw this together. Try and make it as strong as we can. All right, I'm gonna do that 3 more times and then I'll come back and we'll put the top on it. All right, so I have my frame built and this is going to go on top of that. This is gonna hang over just a little bit on the front. Probably line up the back. Let's do that. We'll line up the back. I've already taken my square, figured out how far down the surface of that needs to be, and I've made 6 marks on that. This is going to go in here. I need to figure out where this is going to sit. Let me do that first. All right, so I took a few minutes here to kind of set this up on this bench and figured out where this stud is in relation to the edge of this cabinet. So that would be this stud right here, if you can see that in the camera. I wanted to do that to figure out how far off the wall it needed to be. So that is ultra close back there. So I'm actually going to move this out to 19 inches. So let me do that. Make sure that clears there. All right. All right, that is parallel with this, not the stud, but this. And there's a little more clearance there. So at 22.5 degrees, unfortunately it's right there at the stud, as you can see right here. So that's 22.5 degrees. It just happened to be one of those common angles that you probably are going to be at some point. Now I know where my placement is for the shelf in between the two cabinets here. I've got that marked. I'm gonna double check that. I've left a gap in the back so that the dust collection could be added later. I may end this video today, you know, setting this in here, and then maybe work on that next, or get some sort of idea before I mount this permanently. That way I can work on this and go ahead and get that done. So I have this marked for the height, the top of this, and how far back it should go. And I think I'm going to put some holes in this and get it screwed in with like maybe some temporary screws or something. All right, wait a minute, this has got to go this way. All right, so I'm going to try and hold this and get it right. All right, that was dead on. All right. All right, I'm going to put a couple of screws in this real quick. Yeah, I'd have been upset if that thing didn't fit in there. As much measurements as I had taken. I like this a lot better. It's a lot lower, and that's going to be really good. That's 19 there. That's dead on 19. See, now it clears. And it has good clearance back there. So, and if we stop at 22.5 degrees, I think there's an indent for that. Nope. That still puts us, it's not quite as bad as it was, but you know, if you push it all the way back and then it goes up, it hits that stud there. So that's at 90 degrees there to the fence. And that's good. I don't think I really need to be back any farther than that. So, well, I think I'm going to end this video here. There's no need for you to see me bolting this down. I will do some dust collection on this, and of course I got to put everything back and do some redecorating, I guess you would call it. But I'll go through here and figure out what I want to do as far as how far away from the wall it needs to be, some adjustments that need to be made to it, things of that nature. I really appreciate you spending your time with me today here in my shop as I install this brand new Metabo 12-inch miter saw. This is going to be a great addition to the shop. So again, I appreciate you watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below, and we'll see you on the next video.